boxing fans. And
yeah. Anyone who didn't see you on the first series, Joe, that might not know, you know, too much about yourself, you used to spar with this fella.
I was Tyson's sparring partner for almost 2 years. Proud to say one of the only sparring partners that he never put down.
Yeah, hence the nickname he give you. Tell them.
Oh, Big Joe Egan, the toughest white man on the planet, according to Mike Tyson.
Quality label, that though, isn't it?
I'll back Tyson up on that.
Listen, I'm not even the toughest in my house.
I was going to say, I'm lucky to be the toughest white man in my kitchen sometimes.
Listen, Lennox Lewis never frightened me, and Mike Tyson never frightened me. My route terrifies me.
Never put you down, did they?
Never put me down, Lennox or Tyson.
No.
Never put me down, I'm proud to say. Hurt me loads of times, made me cry. Tyson made me cry so many times. Hurt me on many an occasion. But
is it true he used to cry before fights because he got so nervous?
I've seen a couple of his. He's a very emotional person, yeah, and I've seen him a couple of times. Like he's cried.
Well, listen, Joe, you're dying to mention it. You've got a DVD out. We do a little plug every week, Steve. You know, so if you've ever your program doesn't need.
And I've seen this. It's brilliant, by the way.
I've seen it as well. But we're lucky enough to have a couple of clips from it. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Here we go.
Oh, listen, I should have come in with it like this. No, it's a DVD, Joe Egan, with the toughest man on the planet. There's over 30 world champions on it. It's a fantastic DVD, 2 hours 45 minutes, available in all internet sites, Amazon, and the HMV store stock it.
Well, we also met you lads at a friend of ours' wedding the other week, Scott Wright.
Yeah,
congratulations,
Scott.
Scott.
Yeah, congratulations,
and,
Scott.
The funny thing about it, most people are handing out business cards. Big Joe's like right, we're going to have a look. We're going to have a look now at what it was like on the DVD when Mike Tyson was over in the country. Check this out.
Listen, man, I just remember that Joe is a wonderful person. He was real homesick. And it takes a lot of courage to come from a country and then come to another country and just with so much expectations, and and being a fighter is not a glamorous life. You know, everybody always see the glory, but they don't know the story. It's a very lonely life being a fighter. For someone to come a few thousand miles from Europe and to come to America where, you know, people are very judgmental and very cruel and they're not as warm as most people, but he passed with flying colors. It's just not easy, and I know a lot of people understand what I'm saying because they've been through their trials and tribulation and trying to grasp their success and goals in life, and they understand when you're trying to be the best in the world at anything, there's disappointments there, and then you have to deal with the disappointments and you have to move on, and I believe he's done that. He's proved he's done that, and he'll even explain it more so when you read his book. You know, it sounds crazy. It's a very noble sport, believe it or not, because the only thing that makes anybody can fight. You can fight, anybody can fight the lady, anybody, my children can fight, but it's the struggle that makes it noble. It's when you can see somebody that comes from the bottom of your shoe and just from their struggles and their determination and hard work and perseverance, and they could rub shoulders with kings, the royalties, and be respected. And that's the only sport in the world that can happen. Any other sport that you name, if they have a minor league team, they're organized, they have a foundation, they have an organization. This doesn't have. You know, we have little young kids just like putting little pit bulls, teaching them how to fight. This is a gladiator sport. Some people are fighters and some are gladiators. People that fight, you know what I mean, they fight for a cause or something. People that are gladiators, they have a purpose in life to spread their livelihood and what they did as a living and employed and spread it among the world and in history.
And you see the following that you get when you reach the top, and a lot of people came out for Mike as well. It was great to see.
Nah, because when they come for me, they come for him because I'm coming for him. And they have to know when they come to see Mike, Mike is here. Why? Because he's here with his friend Joe.
I'm a world beater in my dad's eyes, but this man was the world beater. This was the greatest heavyweight champion.
Nah, but it's not about that. Really, I know a lot of people come around and it's, well, Mike's going to be there. But when you really think about it, if you're a man and you can't help your family or your friends, then what kind of man are you? Then you're not a man. If you can't help somebody you love and you're in a position to do that, then you're not a man. You can't consider yourself a man because that's what men do. Men help people who they love and care about. And I'm sure everybody in here feels the same. I'm just happy a friend of mine had enough courage to write a book. Anybody I know is not going to write a real book with a real story. I'm just happy that he wrote a book and I'm a part of somebody's life that believed that I helped him transcend his old life and change his life. But But you have to understand, even after he left Cuss and we went our way, he still had to come back, and then he still had to struggle and fight in the Olympics and prove himself. He wasn't a proven fighter, and then when he came back, he proved himself, not only to the boxing world, the European world, but to himself. And that's the biggest enemy and the biggest competitor that you have to compete against, is yourself. I've always been a great appreciative person of I have the greatest profound veneration for the British people, even though sometimes I fight with them, they fight back. But you know, I just always respect them. I respect their plight all through history. Since the day of the legendary King Arthur, I read it all, since the gallant wars against the barbarians, against the tribes of Iceland. You know, you have to admit, this is the only country, very few countries, maybe Russia being one of them, maybe France, but very few countries had as many wars on the whole ground that we all preserved from England here. There's not been any place in the world that has been more wars fought in this land. And even though we laugh at their sense of humor, but when it comes to honesty and sincerity and sticking with somebody, there's nobody that'll stick with you more than English. I'm sure there's a lot of them over that flip-flop too, but I've met some that stick with you to the wheels actually roll off.
Finally, Mike, your message to your fans who want to see another fight out of you.
Well, listen, you may see another fight with Antonio Tarver, but other than that, I'm just here with my friend Big Joe. We're going to have a ball.
Hey, Steve, what about that for a tribute?
Compliment and a half. I mean, you can't get a bigger compliment than that, especially off Iron Mike Tyson.
So he loves you, Joe?
Yeah, we have a great friendship, and I have the utmost respect for Mike as a person. I think he's a great person. I think he's a great fighter, and you know, it was a great honour for me to have shared the ring with him.
Yeah.
I got battered by him, but it's still a great honour to have shared the ring with him. Yeah.
I'm going to do this now while I've got the cameras on you. When he's over, you'll get him on seconds out for me, won't you?
Without a shadow of a doubt, definitely, 100%.
An Irishman's handshake is as good as his word.
Without a shadow of a
As long as
doubt.
I can come on it as well.
Have all three of it.
There's a friend of mine in Midlands today, Ashley Blake, and I organised an interview with him and Mike. He asked me and I organised it.
And it's good news about, you know, he's been in a bit of trouble again. He's just got 24 hours to do in jail.
24-hour, 1 day in prison and 3-year probation. That's great news.
Steve, I did more last week.
That's great. He's more beneficial being out of prison. He's no benefit to society being in prison. He could lecture to potential young offenders and tell them all about the pitfalls and how to avoid getting into trouble, because he's had his fair share of trouble.
But what people don't see on this fella, and I only know this from meeting blokes like yourself that have met him and that know him personally, because the media don't get to know these people personally, do they?
They criticise and slander his every move.
But you said your missus had a driving test, and with everything going on in his life, he still got hold of you to see how she did.
3 months after we were over, we were his guest in his home in America, and she had a driving test coming. She had a driving test coming up, and 2 days to the day, 3 months later, 2 days to the day, Mike phoned the house. I said, hello. He said, hey Joe, it's Mike. I said, Ruthie there? I said, yeah. Handed the phone to Ruth as Mike Tyson wants you on the phone, and he wanted to know how she got on in her test. 2 days to the day, 3 months later, after being his guest in America, even with what was going on in his world, he still had time to remember.
That's amazing.
About his friend's missus' driving test.
And she's in town now, tanning your credit card, isn't she?
She's out shopping at the moment. Hurry up with this interview. Because, she's spending on that credit card. See, when her credit card was stolen, I didn't report it stolen, because the thief was spending less than her.
Good. Steve, you got a joke on pear drops or something? Some sweets or something?
I haven't, no.
I'm only kidding.
I was just saying what you told me earlier.
Right, lads, that's it. We've run out of time. Goes
Cheers,
too
mate.
fast, doesn't it? Thanks for coming on. But before we go, we're going to show you one more clip.
From the
Because
DVD?
It wasn't easy getting 2 clips out of the DVD, to be honest, Joe, because it, like I say, it's full of world champions. It's full of massive names on there. So we're gonna show a little bit. Which, Steve, you said you got goosebumps from that. Anyone watching this show will know the film Raging Bull, obviously. You'll all know it's about Jake LaMotta. But just check this out now. We've got Jake LaMotta quoting the film that Robert De Niro played of him.
It's 2 hours 45 minutes of fantastic footage on the DVD.
That'll be getting cut out.
It wasn't him, Charlie. It was you. You remember that night in the garden when you came to my dress room and you said, Terry, this ain't your night. We're going for the price on Wilson. Do you remember that night, Charlie? This ain't my night. My night. I could have taken Wilson apart that night. So what happens? He gets an outdoor shot in the ballpark, and what do I get? A one-way ticket to Palookaville. I was never no good after that night. It was like It was like a peak you reach, and then it was all downhill. It was you, Charlie. You was my brother. You should have looked out for me just a little bit instead of making me take them dives for a short-end money. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody.